in physical form. So,
Yes.
So we'd like to start the interview for slowCooker,
Mhm.
and just tell us a little bit about the workshop itself and what people will expect when they come.
Okay, so this is the second workshop for the slowCooker series and organized by sonADA, and this one is particular because on the first day we will do a slow walking on Union Street, and then on the second day we'll do live coding. And now the interesting thing about the workshop is that on the first day we are using our body, and we are actually placing our body on Union Street, which is quite interesting. Well, it's the I guess it's the place in Aberdeen. If you're coming to Aberdeen, you cannot you cannot go to anywhere unless you go to this Union Street. So Union Street is quite an interesting place. And in the first day of this workshop, we'll use our body, and we'll take time, and we'll take that place to listen to the sounds that all around us. And we will, if participants have the digital recorder, and they can bring their own. We also provide the portable digital recorder for them, and participants have to bring their own the headphones, of course.
Okay.
So what we'll do is that we will walk very slowly from one end and to the other end of Union Street. While we are doing it, we'll try to keep listening to the sound, and if we somehow strike conversation with the people, then we will certainly do. The whole goal is not about collecting sounds. Yes, we'll be collecting sound for the next day, but our main goal is not about collecting sound. It's about actually listening to the sound in that place, which is something that has been in my interest for some time. As a sound artist and composer, what I was have been interested in the past is that how place or space can be further informed by our renewed engagement with the sound. So as a composer, you could do the usual sound map, and where you go to some place and record sound and then place on the map. So people have been doing quite a lot. Or maybe you could just collect sound and place, and then come to the studio and using those materials to create some artwork, some sound piece or a composition. The problem with that for me has been that somehow those activities eventually and effectively cut ourselves from this place. What this means is it's almost like a taking what that place provides you for that moment, and only that. Once you take that, you take the sound, and then bring it to the studio, then do your own things. So it seems to me that the initiation of that process was good, had good intent, but end result was somehow the place and our engagement place seemed to be continue to be further away from each other. So this the first day activity is walking on Union Street very slowly.
Yeah.
Is first of all my attempt to return to the place with my own body, taking time, and along the way I hope that the participants can also walk along with me to recognize or re-engage with a place that have not been in before, so that this process of taking time and take place might give them some other aspects of the place, and then other ways of engaging with the place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first part, and the second part is live coding.
Yes.
So live coding is by itself is very intellectual process, meaning that you are sitting in front of a computer and you are typing code and then it generates sound, which is fun, but that also has I think it has a problem, which is there's some sense of a disconnection between what you produce, the sound, and what you're actually doing. again here, you as a performer, your body seems to be somewhat disconnected from the sound you're producing. So on the second day, yes, of course, we will learn the title, very interesting program language, and then to generate patterns of sound, which will be quite fun. But the whole idea combining these two seemingly different aspects or different activities to listen or making sound is that in both ways we are trying to engage with our body to listen to and then generate sound. So it will be a very interesting workshop for me personally, and I hope that other people whose background may be in sound art or performance art or any kind of visual art might be able to gain some perspective of what sound means for us, for us and for our place and for our body.
Thank you. In terms of your journey, so how did you get to being a sound artist? Can you tell us a bit about where you started off as a musician and how you got to being interested in sound?
Well, first of all, I was not a classically trained musician. I did my undergraduate and totally different topic, and only after I became somewhat old, 28 or 29, I started composing. But I started composing because I heard a piece by Dennis Smalley. There was, I think, either the first time or maybe second time I listened to electroacoustic music, and that got me into this, into composing, learn how to compose myself, and then kind of self-teaching myself how to use equipment and how to compose. That got me started. So for the last 10 years or so, I have been very happily creating whatever I do, and then I find it quite successfully producing works that I'm happy with. But over the last 3 or 4 years, I have started to have some kind of doubts about what I'm doing. This is related to the question the first question that we just discussed about composer producing work that is not really related to the place or my own body. That disconnection seems to be bothering more and more. So as a composer, I have always been thinking that I'm in some control of the materials that I'm dealing with. But over the few years, I realized that that's actually not what I'm doing. I have a sense of control, but sometimes I think I'm in control, but actually I'm imagining. What seems to be much more interesting these days is to rather than actually trying to control every bit of a sound that I'm making, I'm more interested in either controlling or creating or situating certain context based on which or within which the sound I'm making or people who listen to my piece or participants who are participating in any kind of installation, they will have a different kind of experience. So if I try to differentiate my role as a composer and a sound artist, is that when I probably say I'm a composer to other people, I'm in their mind, or I have this perspective of approaching sound and producing materials based on this sense of a control of my medium. Then I'm probably per se I'm a composer. But if I'm saying I'm a sound artist, I'm coming from that other aspect of that I have with the sound, which is not much in control of sound. Sound is everywhere, like John Kay says. I'm more like creating a situation or a certain context, because sound is everywhere, so I don't have to control anything. It's just to create a certain context so that certain sound will emerge out of it, so that we can all listen to it. So so I have two different kind of perspective or attitudes or approaches to sound. I said that answers the question.
Thank you very much. So in terms of the importance of sound as an art form, what kind of perspective do you hope to pass on to the participants through this experience, and to kind of give what kind of thing do you hope that they will feel at the end of this experience, as in terms of interacting with their ears as much as their body? What sort of thing would you hope that they got away from?
Right. Well, the practical speaking, this workshop will hopefully give the participants the renewed sense of a sound and using their own real body. And the first day of a slow walking has certain sense of a performance art aspect. I'm not going to call myself a performance artist at all, because that's completely, if not completely, but that's a whole aspect of it where I'm not an expert of. So, but there, in this case, I think I'm borrowing a snippet of their practice, the performance artist practice, where hoping that using our own body in that somewhat unnatural way of working, participants will be able to recognize or identify some different ways of listening. So that's a quite important objective for this workshop. In the second day, we are learning titles. So practice speaking. At the end of the workshop, I hope that all the participants will be somewhat comfortable with the program language called Tidal, and they can produce sound. And furthermore, along the way, I hope that the participants will be able to hone their skills, using both listening with their own body, and then also using some intellectual way of dealing with sound through this live coding practice. They will hopefully kind of help them further, maybe not if not advanced, but further their thoughts about how to make sound and how to listen to sound.
Is there anything that you expect the audience to get from this from the performance at the end of the second day workshop?
Oh yeah, do you mean evening performance? So the evening performance, we are planning to have. I'll be performing just a snippet of it, and we also have Fiona Sopang, local artist, performing, and also we have Suk-Jun Kim, the PhD student at the University of Aberdeen. He'll be also performing an audiovisual piece, which seems to be quite interesting. And but also, depending on how well it goes during the second workshop, we will also invite participants to their first, perhaps, live coding performance. So the evening performance will be having fun. So that to kind of show off what we have learned. So that'll be quite interesting one. But also I'm personally quite excited for the sonADA to use the anatomy rooms for the first time. The anatomy rooms is currently run by Jim Ewan, and this venue seems to be quite exciting, adventure for many of our local artists here in Aberdeen, and we are so excited to use that space for our gig. And so it's not only for us to having fun, but also it'll be opportunity for us to explore the space. Yeah. And so it'll be quite interesting performance.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So I think that really is all my questions answered.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.